Warning, F-bombs are armed and they may be dropped. About what's going on in LA. All right. First of all, this was a crisis that was created very carefully. First of all, the foliage was not removed. The reservoir was not kept full. Pause. San Ynez Reservoir was intentionally drained because there was damage to a cover. It was to keep bird shit and leaves and all that crap out of the reservoir. Well, none of that really mattered. That did not matter nearly as much as having that water available, did it? Worse still, the cover was what was damaged. Okay, well, that could have been patched. All right, sailors have been patching uh, sails for literally thousands of years. There's the emergency patch, and there's the proper patch. You don't need to go and replace the entire cover uh, before uh, immediately. You don't need to drain the reservoir because of this busted patch or this damaged cover. You didn't really need the cover that badly. You needed the water. Foliage had not been removed at all. The budget and the fire budget had been cut. I have to speak up for Chief Crowley, excuse me here. Um, from what I'm hearing from independent sources, by the way, um, she did a phenomenal job considering she literally had the mayor's fist so far up her ass that it was coming out of the poor chief's mouth. Now, I know everybody wants to talk about that assistant chief. I'm not going to right now. We'll deal with her later when we deal with the mayor and the governor. All right. We'll talk about the assistant chief later. I am going to talk about the mayor and governor right away. First of all, there's no excuse why that reservoir was drained. Second of all, there's no excuse why there was a shortage of water to begin with. Water is being pumped from the San Joaquin River south to the LA reservoir. The one behind the big dam, the dam that when it was first built, it failed because there was something they didn't know existed. Yeah, that one. That is being constantly refilled. So there's no excuse why the city ran out of fire water to begin with. Ever. But it gets worse. At one point, it's being said, the electricity was cut. Okay. Well, that is the reason why the fire pumps failed. No, 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 it's not. If those fire pumps don't have backup generators already, then somebody needs to be in prison. All right. Where did any of that money go that it's already missing? Well, that the pumps aren't or the generators aren't there, but let's talk about that in a minute. Those hydrants should never have gone dry. And but for the hydrants going dry, that fire would have been out Tuesday, Wednesday morning on the very latest. It's been a week now. All right. Well, it's been almost a week now. So no, don't insult my intelligence. Don't try lying to me. All right. There's no excuse why those hydrants went dry, ever. The foliage was not removed. That foliage should have been conscientiously removed every year. It wasn't. Why not? Well, it's very simple, really. You run out of water and you have an overgrowth of super dry foliage, and you will have a fire sooner or later. Yeah. There is a clip of a video. I have to admit, I don't know when it was made, and I don't know exactly where it was made, but it does look like the Los Angeles area, and it's being said that this is the original arsonist setting the original Palisade fire. And you know what? In that video is very clear that yes, there is a fire on a hill. So far, I've only seen it on my phone, so very small scale, right? Um, I couldn't see the guy walking around that they're talking about. But if that's a 40-foot flame, uh, then yeah, I'm not going to see much of anything in detail. Maybe 2 dozen pixels of a 40-foot flame. Yeah, that's what I saw. Pause. I don't know that that's what happened yet, but I do know that there is absolutely no reason why that bush was on fire. There's nothing around it that could possibly have set it alight, which means something did, and it wasn't something that should be there under any circumstances. The bush shouldn't have been there to begin with. Should have been, that entire hill should have been cleared. You put super dry tinder, really, kindling on a hill in the middle of Los Angeles. It's just a matter of time before something sets it off. Now, I'm going to get a little conspiratorial here. I believe somebody intentionally set that fire. Oh, as an act of terrorism. Yeah, it was, and it's hard to tell what they were thinking unless we can find them and hold them and interrogate them. Um, but there's every reason to believe that they thought they would kill a lot of people, and even if they didn't kill anybody, they'd do a lot of property damage. It is no mistake that this individual aimed for the Palisades area because that's upper middle class, upper class area. When that fire broke out, all of the firefighters went charging in there because they knew this was serious. Not because these are a bunch of rich people, but because that's a very serious area. All right. Hillside on fire is going to get the firefighters' attention, even if they didn't care. They still know they'd have to go and deal with this. And really seriously deal with this now. So now they're all over here doing this. Our firebug goes off to the Eaton area and sets another fire. Now, I've heard that it said that the fire may have been started by electrical lines. I have absolutely no evidence of that yet. All right. More importantly, it's going to be impossible to tell after the fact. Did the electrical lines set the fire, or did the fire damage the electrical lines? And that's some pretty good cover, isn't it? It's the campfire scenario all over again. Right? Do something that causes a fire. In camp, I think the causing the fire was entirely an accident. But it did happen. In Eaton, I believe it was very much intentional. Set the fire, it damages the electrical. Boom, perfect cover. There you go. Walk away scot-free. Even if they do catch you, they can't prove it now. It's getting worse, actually. The body count now is, last I checked, I think it was 16, or maybe it was 18. Sorry, I was just scanning. It's not getting better at all. All right. Areas that were saved are now, that were safe, are now being threatened as well. So it's spreading very badly. We have over a dozen people who are now dead. Tens of thousands are homeless. Thousands of homes and businesses are destroyed. And the state still hasn't gotten their shit together. I want to really lay something on y'all. All right. The last I heard, they still haven't tried using seawater to put the fire out. I'm hearing all kinds of people say, oh no, you can't use seawater in the pumps. It'll damage them. No, it won't damage them that quickly. And this fire is going to destroy those fire engines and those pumps and everything else long before the seawater does. All right. Yes, it's going to take a whole lot more to clean up the mess afterwards. But the mess that has been made now, I'm not entirely sure it can be cleaned up now. It may be too late. It may be too much. Congratulations, Gavin. Especially, you got exactly what you wanted. You wanted a terror attack in California? Now you got it. What were you hoping you'd be out of office before it happens? Or something to explain it? I really want to lay this on thick because I think some of y'all are not quite getting it. This isn't the first time it happened. This isn't even the first time it's happened in that region. It just didn't quite get this bad last time. Camp Fire killed 89 people, right? That by itself should have been enough of a wake-up call for Gavin and the mayors and the boards of supervisors to say, maybe we need to start dealing with these problems. Like, do we have overgrown areas, especially overgrown areas near residential neighborhoods where people could be asleep when the fire breaks out? That's part of what went wrong at Camp Fire. It happened in the middle of the night. People were asleep. Or it really blew up. In the middle of the night, people were asleep. Do we have redundancies in our fire supply? Pause. It is being said that the fire pumps, the fire main pumps, shut down because power shut down. Okay, well, if those pumps don't have backup generators, then somebody needs to explain why. And they should probably use small words because they want to understand the words they're using, and or hire an attorney to write their script for them so they can use the really big words, the words that even I don't entirely understand. Like, write it all in Latin or something. I don't know. There is no excuse for any of this. My odd experience with the subject was bad enough. Right? Everything and my odd little experience is just tiny little, nothing of a sliver compared to what literally everybody else is going through. The firefighters, the people who had to evacuate, everybody else that's going through that. So so much worse. There's no excuse for any of it. All right. I think I've bashed on Gavin and Karen Bass. Mayor Bass, whatever. Enough at this point. 1, get those sea chests installed. If the city's fire main are actually still part of the main water supply. Okay, that's not good. That needed to be fixed a long time ago. You've had 100 years to fix it. It's past time. It's actually kind of too late. But if you're going to rebuild, do it. Get it done. Get the sea chests installed. Sea chests are basically box-shaped things that are on the side, on the hull of a ship. It's an inlet for letting salt water or raw water in. They're used for firefighting, engine cooling, um, sometimes other very, very specific things. They're not used for drinking water. All right. They can also very easily be used for firefighting water. And if you don't believe me, that's what saved San Francisco back in '89. Los Angeles has 5 fireboats. San Francisco at the time had 2, and they were old. All right. So, yeah, there's even fewer excuses. I know pumping water uphill will be an issue, but it's better to pump that water uphill and maybe dump it into pools and then pump from the pool further up the hill than it is to watch the whole damn city burn to the ground. Because I know they've been pumping water out of pools. I've been hearing all about it. Right? Drained pools. And here I'm going to make a somewhat unusual call. Reinstate the classic militia system. All right, the people in the evacuation zones, they have to focus on evacuation. Fine, got it. Totally understood. The rest of LA County could have been called up to help fight these fires. And to be perfectly blunt, LA, the city of LA being as, well, the county of LA being as big as it is, they would have had to say no, only 4 battalions or only 8 companies or whatever. And we're just going to, arbitrarily say these companies report to your muster area or report to your duty station or whatever. You're going to go be firefighters. Manpower is one of the things that, they were short of. They didn't have enough firefighters to cut the lines fast enough to stop the fire. They didn't have the firefighters to fight the fires that they could get to before it spread. They could have had 20,000 people ready to go in 20 minutes. If nothing else, firefighters who were busy controlling traffic or tending hoses. Not the nozzlemen, but the hose tenders, the guys further down the line that are moving the hose so that the attack team can put the wet stuff on the red stuff. They could have been, all of those other firefighters could have been freed up to do that. And that wasn't an option because we don't have a actual militia in the United States. We have a law, 10 USC section 246, B2. Yeah, B2. It's not functional because nobody knows what to do. Right? It's great to have all the manpower in the world, but if nobody knows what to do, might as well have nothing. Nobody. And nothing. That's the way it is. Reinstate the militia system, or we're going to see a whole lot more Los Angeleses. On that note, until at least this time next year, buckle up. This is not over. This was an act of terror. There are going to be more acts of terror. Donnie is coming into office. And the left is absolutely fucking flip shit furious. All right. They cannot even contain themselves. There's open calls to assassinate him. Like, bitch, are you stupid? You said publicly, can somebody please kill this motherfucker before he gets into office? What were you thinking? What kind of retard are you to say that out loud? Well, she's the kind of retard that said that out loud, I guess. This is far from over. I know nobody believes me, and I don't care. At least now I have something out there in the universe that says, oh yeah, but I said it. I said it a long time ago. You didn't listen then. Are you going to listen now? Keep calm and mandatory carry on.